was going the right direction, to make sure everybody had what they needed. I used to take all this stuff on my shoulders and think, it's got to be up to me. And do you feel that way ever? Like you've got to be in control of everything, because if you don't, everything is going to fall apart and things aren't going to work out. And then you end up taking on more than you can handle and stressing yourself out because you know you're never going to be able to get it done. And now you feel bad because you already committed to it. You have to swear to your own hurt. And it's this vicious cycle. And we have an overdeveloped sense of responsibility for many reasons. You know, it could stem from maybe you had a parent die when you were young and you felt like you were the one that had to be in charge. Or for me, one of the reasons I have this overdeveloped sense of responsibility, when I was a kid in daycare, I had to babysit some of the other kids because there was a funeral happening and she couldn't take all the daycare kids into the funeral, our daycare lady. And so somebody said, can your oldest child go out and watch, you know, the kid at the park? And she said, no, I can't give you my oldest, but I can give you my most responsible. So that name was put on me when I was very young. Then when I was selling Mary Kay Cosmetics, I was 20, and the director said, you are the most responsible person I have ever met. So maybe I've always been, but people have been putting that label on me. And then coming from a background of having low self-esteem for myself, I would always look for people whenever I was out and about who looked like they were left out, who looked like they didn't feel good about themselves, and I would make it my responsibility to make sure they were included, to make sure they felt good, to make sure everything was okay with them, when it wasn't really my responsibility to do that. Yes, it's nice and kind, but I was putting so much pressure on myself to be everything that everyone needed that I wasn't taking care of myself. Here's one silly example of my overdeveloped sense of responsibility. My husband and I were out enjoying some music one night, and there wasn't enough chairs for everybody. And there was a chair on one side of my husband and a chair on one side of me. And I saw this couple come in. I said to my husband, Rob, let's just move over. We move over one, then there'll be 2 seats over here. Then those couple can sit here. And he was like, they don't even look like they want to sit. I'm like, well, they're standing. They're probably going to want to sit down. He's like, if they want us to move, they can come over and ask and we'll move. So to me, that was like, I was in shock. You know, he was raised as someone who, you know, I guess just did what he wanted, had confidence. He would have felt like it was no big deal to come over and ask to sit down if he wanted to sit down. But I know how the old me was, who was afraid to speak up, to assert myself, who didn't want to get told no, so I would have never asked to sit down. Even if my feet were killing me, I would have never asked somebody, hey, can you move over so my friend and I can sit? So I'm looking back at them the whole time going, oh, they probably want to sit. And he's just enjoying the show. Me and my overdeveloped sense of responsibility is feeling bad that this couple is standing in the back and we could just move over one, then they could sit. It's this whole thing where I bring, you know, do you get to the point where somebody needs work done, and if nobody else is raising their hand to do the work, you're like, I'll do it, and you start taking on all this burden, and maybe you want to, maybe you love to, but there comes to be a point in your life sometimes where other people will see that you do that and take advantage of you. Have you ever been in that situation where they go, oh no, I don't need to say anything, I know Katherine, she'll do it, she'll take on all the workload herself and we can sit back and relax. Then you get taken advantage of. People, you know, it's like you enable people, and I say all this to say, don't feel like you have to always take on more than you need to. Don't feel bad saying no. You can't fix everything. You can't fix everybody. You can't make sure everybody's good, even no matter how hard you try. Some people are going to be upset. Some people aren't going to enjoy themselves. And putting all this extra weight and burden on yourself all the time, especially when there's other people around who could help take the load, it's not healthy and it's not good for you. And then you end up feeling bad and guilty and miserable when you can't get everything done that you said that you would do. And that's no way to live. Guys, just be easy on yourself. Don't take on so much burden. Just be who you are and do what you can and help extra if you can help extra. But if you can't, don't feel bad about it. You're doing the best you can, and if other people are upset that you can't do everything, well, you're not a miracle worker. People need a team. They need a staff. You can't do everything by yourself. So if people get mad at you if you start to pull back and make them do stuff on their own, I mean, I think of, my 12-year-old. He's finally started pouring his own juice, and I took on so much responsibility because I think, oh, he has special needs. He needs help with the stuff, and he doesn't have steady hands because of his cerebral palsy. And I think at some points I would go overboard trying to help him for whatever reason, feeling like I was responsible, but maybe also not wanting to clean up the mess, thinking it would just be so much easier if I poured the juice, then there wouldn't be a mess everywhere. But he's got to learn sometime, and I'm not doing him any favors by doing everything for him, and you're not doing anybody any favors by doing everything for them. So do what you can, when you want to, when it's a good time for you. But don't take on so much that you're burdened and weighed down and that you feel responsible for everyone, okay? Take care of yourself, guys. Nobody else will. So do that, okay? Love you. Live true, love hard, shine bright.
Hey there, it is Katherine Norland. I hope you enjoyed that video. And if you did, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And if you guys think that this video would bless somebody else or that they need to hear it, please hit the share button. And there's a little bell button too where you can be notified whenever I have a video that comes out so you don't miss a thing. I appreciate you guys. Remember, always live true, love hard, shine bright, and I will see you in the next video.